Okay, Terry.
Okay. We have two dimensions in a boiler, or two main areas of concern. We have
In a flash steam generator, you call it a flash steam generator? Or?
this isn't really a flash one.
Okay, well, a
A
steam
flash,
generator.
man, I don't want to get into detail.
Yep.
Flash steam generators is different, theoretically and physically different shaped.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just a common monotube steam generator.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do here is we start with cold water in here. And that's why we have our pressure gauge and our electronic pressure switch. Because if you put hot water on these, it will destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
Or will it significantly shorten the life.
Mm-hmm.
So you read your pressure where it's coming into the boiler, and that tells you how much pressure is inside the coils that are wound inside of here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, cold into the boiler, that you turn
Steam
your
generator.
fire on. It exits here. So this is the coldest point of the part of the boiler. Even though it's hot, it's still the coldest part. So now, as you push the water in, it starts to go this way. And the farther this way it goes, the hotter it gets. And then eventually, when it gets to this end of the boiler, the generator, you've got steam, and out it comes right here. We have a quartz rod controller that senses the temperature inside of the steam. And we also have a manual gauge to show us what the temperature is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, after that is your throttle and or a scale trap.
Okay.
Scale traps are a good thing to have because very rarely do you get water that's pure enough to keep you from scaling up inside the coils of the generator.
Mm-hmm.
So now
There's a blower here. This happens to be an oil burner.
Yes.
Instead, for our case, we'll have biomass pellets burning.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Any other controls so that you've got basically the
no,
inlet?
that's basically these are the two controls.
Mm-hmm.
You're,
And how does the pressure control work? So
Okay.
upon that being
if for some reason the boiler just is making more steam than you're using, the pressure rises. Well, when the pressure rises too high, that's a dangerous, undesirable thing to happen. So what happens is before it hurts or ruins anything, this switch will turn all the electricity off, and the burner will stop burning. However, the fan will stay on to help cool it down.
Mm-hmm.
But if you keep that fire burning and keep adding water, well, that water is going to turn to steam, and it's going to expand, and it's going to cause the pressure to rise and rise and rise and rise. So before it does that, it turns off the heat, and it stops putting more water in. Now,
and the pressure, the pump pressure has to overcome the pressure of the
pressure
steam
of the
generator.
steam inside the steam generator. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So typically, in most modern steam applications, you're developing steam at temperatures and pressures well above 800 degrees and 800 psi.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the earlier versions, like in the 60s and 50s, because of the technology advances from the early steam cars, I forgot where I was going with this.
What temperature they were running at?
They ran at temperatures and pressures much lower.
Mm-hmm.
And these are, we rarely get to 800 psi and 800 degrees in the Keen car.
Mm-hmm.
So that's designed to operate at lower pressures. There are people theoretically who wanted to make 2,000 psi and 2,000 degrees steam.
Mm-hmm.
In that situation, that's where you would have to have a normalizer like I showed you, where they puff a little bit of cold water in with the steam to cool it down.
That's like the cyclone engine.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And the way the quartz rod works, controller for the temperature.
Senses the temperature of the steam. If the pressure's low, but the temperature is too high, you also want to turn off your fire. Otherwise, you're going to burn things up in there.
So upon temperature getting too high, the fire also
The
goes
fire
off.
stops.
Does the
but
water-
the fan stays on.
Fan stays. Does the
And
water stay on?
No, the water will continue pumping because the boiler's hot. So we need water to cool it down, and your pressure is still low.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you don't reach that overpressure point, the pump is programmed to keep pumping water in there.
Okay. So upon too high pressure, you have water stop. But
Yes,
upon
and you
too
have
high
fire
temperature, you
shut off.
continue.
If you reach, yes. So if you reach an over temp condition, you still pump the water in to cool the generator down.
Okay. Excellent.
So now, ideally, what you would like to have is this thing running at about 600 psi. I don't. Oh, this is the red mark is at 800. That's the danger zone or the overpressure zone, and then we're marked at 650 degrees here. So we're trying to keep our temperatures low so we don't destroy the thing.
My steam generator can handle that type of pressure? Or?
Good. Yeah.
Mhm.
That we built over these last 3 days, it will handle just what this is handling.
Mm-hmm. And this one is made with all Schedule 80 or Schedule 40?
Basically, yeah. It's another industry type tubing or something. I don't know how they buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a slightly different dimension than the black pipe that we weld together and use.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Excellent. Thank you.
you're welcome. And I'm sorry we didn't get to fire this up because it's really neat to watch.
Mm-hmm.